Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to another Ace video. Today we're going to be talking about how to gear everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. It's really dependent on the intended use for each character. So we're going to go ahead and go over that. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. Just a quick reminder, all the links to my social media are in the description below, so definitely check that out. Join us on Discord where we're talking about the game, sharing tips, tricks, strategies, and everything else. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So there's a few things that I look at when I try and determine the best gear that I'm going to put on anybody. It doesn't matter if it's going to be support, if it's going to be DPS, if it's going to be a tank type tune. It really doesn't matter. It's all about the intended use of that specific unit. So what I mean by that is, let's go in here. I'm just going to take a look at, who do I want to look at first? Let's go and look at, we're going to look at this guy here real quick. So Rickard. What I look at are these stats. Are these important? I feel that they are. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these. He has an A status for health and defense. I feel there's a reason for that. So we're going to take a look at his kit and talk about that. Really quick before we do that, you also have this right here for every character. It does have some recommended sets. One warning though, I don't think it makes sense on every character. There are some characters in here where they recommend certain sets that just doesn't make sense to me, no matter how you look at it. We're going to look at Hakarin here a little bit as well, but you do have this if you want to play around with this a little bit, but most of my focus is here on the stats, these letter stats, and I was bouncing this against some of my Alliance members, so I want to thank them for their help and kind of helping me hash some of this out. But these letter grades don't change. Your stats are going to be over here. They're going to change. These are all based on what I feel is basically what these units are intended for. So I believe for this unit, Rickard, the intended use is really to focus on the health and defense stats. The reason for that is if we take a look at the kit right here, it grants a 10% damage reduction upon taking damage. Once you ascend, it grants a 20% damage reduction, which is great. His basic right here does some damage and attack down. His special removes all negative effects. Each removal restores 10% of max health. That's great. So where's the defense and the health coming into play? It's this right here. When you take a look at his ultimate, it deals total true damage equal to 80% of this character's max health to all enemies. So really, you want this guy to survive. He's not going to do massive damage. I mean, his attack is a C. You can get this up pretty high and increase the amount of damage. But you really want him to survive because his damage is really going to come from his ultimate based on the amount of health that he has. So for this guy, what I've focused on is I put him all in Terra gear. Try and get his health up as high as I can. I do need to increase that. But I'm at 12,000 right now. I'm at 1K defense. My speed's at 104. You can see where my stats are. Crit, I'm not really overly worried about on this guy, so that's pretty low. It's really about his health, and it's the amount of damage that is going to happen with him. And yeah, I need to increase Terra gear for this guy, get him in some better armor. I do got some five-star gear, which works out. A lot of my gearing, a lot of my farming has really been in Queen of Tides, so I've been neglecting him a little bit. But that's how I look at it. So let's apply that to somebody else. Let's go to Hakarin. If we take a look at Hakarin here, same thing. Look at the details. Look at what his stats are. So his two highest stats here are defense and health. If we take a look at this, Vanguard, Terra, and Revival. The Terra, I really don't. It really doesn't make sense to me. The Revival, not really either. Really, the Vanguard does make sense. So we're gonna talk about that right now. The reason why that makes sense, if we take a look at his kit right here, grants a team-wide defense bonus equal to 10% of its character's defense rating. So right off the bat, you're going to give a defense bonus to everybody at 10%. You ascend him, you're going to get that up to 20%. Critical to get him up to 20%, so at least get him ascended twice to hit that. That's why his defense is at an S here. It is so critical, especially for survival of your team in certain dungeons. Right now, he's critical on my Queen of Tides team. If we take a look at his kit, his basic just does some damage here with an 80% chance to reduce cooldown of the ultimate, which is helpful. And the special deals some damage. This guy is useful for taunt as well. So you can do that. Damage scales with this character's defense. So again, the higher the defense, the more damage that he's going to do with that. And then if we take a look at his ultimate, deals 150% damage to an enemy and grants max health up to all team members. This isn't specific or tied to any stat, but it stacks twice. It gives you 15% max health. So if you max stack that 3 times, it's going to give you 45% additional max health, which is nice. So health and defense, really you want this guy to stay up and alive throughout the entire battle. That way he gives that bonus, and you really want to focus on the defense. So what I have for him is I've got him in all Vanguard gear. So let's take a look at somebody where I've mixed and matched the gear. If we take a look at, let me see, let's take a look at Hydrisia. She was the first legendary I got. I got her in my rookie summon. She's been great. If we take a look at her kit, attack and crit rate are her two highest. So you know she's going to be a nuker. You know that she's meant to do damage. So we want to focus on attack and crit. That doesn't mean you want to ignore any of the substats that you're really looking for, like crit damage, some defense, things like that. Those are kind of just bonuses. Crit damage definitely helpful, especially when you're getting your crit rate up so high. So like for her, my crit rate's over 100%. One thing I will look at is increasing my crit damage here, getting that as high as I can without bringing my crit rate below 100%. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on as well. But if we take a look at her kit, right here, attacks have a 50% chance to grant a bonus attack that deals 50% damage to all enemies. Her basic deals 100% damage with a 50% chance to apply speed down for 2 turns. Similar to her special, 100% damage to all enemies and apply speed down. This applies speed down where her basic has a chance to apply speed down. Now, a Cursed set could work with her because with Cursed, what I look at specifically with that set is if the basic ability has a chance to add a status effect, whether it's a speed down or add a poison, when I take a look at my poison team, then that's where I feel Cursed comes into play. And then you can mix and match into the substats and really kind of what you're looking for to get your damage and everything up there. We'll take a look at somebody else as well here in a minute. And then her ultimate 100% damage to all enemies. So nothing here is tied to a certain amount of damage based on the amount of attack you have or health or defense. It's really just straight up attack, crit. So that's what I focused on really here is I focused on Rage and Warrior so that we can get as much crit as possible. I'm almost at 20%. 120% on my crit rate. So once if I get that up a little higher, I may look at Cursed because again, her basic does have a chance to get to apply speed down. So that's a bonus effect. I think that would come in handy. Not to mention just the additional damage that she can do. So that's where I have her. If we take a look at someone on my poison team, actually we'll take a look at a couple. These will be the last 2 that we take a look at. Let's go down to Valik, and I'll show you where I have him. So Valik here, again, you can take a look at this, Raptor, Terra, and Raider. Where I have him, if we take a look at his kit here, it's really health and defense. And I think that really comes into play because really all you're focused on with this guy is that he applies poisons. So if we take a look, this character has a 50% chance to apply a counter attack with accuracy down for 1 turn. Basic 100% damage to an enemy with a 50% chance to apply poison. Cursed could work on this guy because it would increase the chance that you can put some additional poisons, which will help your poison team. Special, when an enemy takes an attack, there's a 50% chance to apply poison, so more poison. This guy really isn't an attacker. He's really there to apply the poisons. Deal 100% damage to all enemies. Damage scales with the number of poisons stacked on the target. Now, some people, there was a question that I had about running him through and turning off his ultimate. You can do that. That way, it's focused more on the basic and the specials to apply poisons to try and increase the amount of poisons that you have. I haven't really seen, at least where my team is right now, I haven't seen a difference really by turning the ultimate off or on. The additional damage is helpful, but not necessary. So that's where I have him. If I look at his gear right now, it's just all warrior gear. Well, actually, it's a mix match now that I look at it. It's a mix match based on the stats that I'm really looking at for him. So like right here, I've got health. Health is really critical for me for him. I have some focus there. That's not really a major thing for me, but health and speed there on that guy. We got some defense, some health, really focusing on that. Defense there, health and attack, got some defense as well. So really kind of a mishmash of stats based on getting him to survive as much as possible. Right now I've got him at almost 12k health, almost 1500 defense. He works out really well. Crit damage really doesn't matter. Focus at 34%. But it works for my poison team. So I'll continue to work on him. I did start putting some curse gear on him. As you can see, I've got I've got 2 pieces there. So as I collect more gear and I can get a full curse set, I think that'll come in handy in adding additional poisons. Last one we're going to take a look at, another poison team. We'll take a look at my Santis. Santis, again, is not one that's really really dependent on damage. It's more on the poison and applying those poisons. So if we take a look at her health and speed, so again, survivability, she's a little squishy, so you definitely want to increase her survivability speed. You want to get her to move as quickly as she can. So attacks against enemies affected by poison have a 50% chance to apply poison and additional poison for 2 turns. The basic does some damage, applies poison. So again, 150% damage to an enemy and duplicates all poison. Again, the duplicate poison really is what she's here for. Adding those poisons, getting as much as possible, so the poisons themselves do damage. The poison isn't specific to any stat or tied to any stat of your character. It's tied to the health of your enemy. Deals damage based on the max health at the end of turn. On max health at the end of turn. Now that I say that, this is the max health. I believe this is the max health of the enemy, not the max health of you. Someone's going to have to help me with that one, because that's what I believe this is for. It doesn't state it, but I believe that's what it is pertaining to. So if anybody knows anything different, definitely let me know in the comment section below, because I think I need some confirmation on that one. So that's really how I look at every character. I just take a look at what the letter grade status is for. You take a look at Zatluk. Again, it's all about crit and attack. So you want to base your gearing off of those stats, and then your substats as well, and that's going to really help you. I haven't really seen anything that takes me away from looking at that. We take a look at Nathalia, same thing, S attack and crit, so you really want to get her damage up there. One thing with her that you really want to take a look at, for every positive effect on this character, has their abilities attack 1 extra enemy. So the more buffs that she has, the better. That's really tied to her teammates, but you can also put a guard set on her, which helps out. If we take a look at what's recommended for her, it doesn't even have the guard set, but the guard set here, if we take a look at, grants a shield that with max strength equal to 30% of the max health for 3 turns at the start of battle. Bonuses for multiple sets do not stack, so really it doesn't matter if you have 4 or 6 of these. It's really just 1 set. It is based off max health, so something to keep in mind there as well. So as you're getting her attack up, keep an eye on her health on that one. That's kind of a one-off one where it doesn't follow this 100%, so just make sure that you understand the kit. So when it comes down to gearing, 2 main things to look at is the letter grades of the stats to make sure that you understand what that unit is intended for, and then number 2, what makes sense for the kit. Cursed for a lot of DPS, especially when your DPS can add a status effect or a bonus off of the basic. Focus set, I really haven't found a huge use for Raptor set, really. Focus, really, for me, what I've noticed is if I keep it between 40% and 80% for my focus, it's pretty good. You can get that higher if you want, but I don't feel that should substitute for any other stat that you're really looking for. Crit, defense, attack, health, those are really kind of the main 4. A 5th one would be crit damage, again, based on the intended use for that unit. So there you go, everybody. That is what I had for you. That's my gearing guide. That's how I take a look at each one of my characters. It doesn't matter what they are, whether support, damage, tank. It just really depends on that. Now, I'm very interested in your thoughts on this. What do you look at when you gear? What are some of your favorite characters and gear set combinations? Because I do want to take a look at that as well. I do have some favorites here that I want to talk about eventually, maybe for another video. But definitely let us know in the comment section below. All right, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.